Hello, greetings from Stuttgart, Germany. Q-Ball here with Tearing Up the Miles. As you can tell from the title of the video, I got myself a new Street Glide, 2021 Street Glide Special. Very happy. This is a long time I've been wanting a bagger, and just really happy. Just some things that happened in my life as I was transitioning out of the military in 2018 that didn't really allow me to just that change, those big life changes that didn't allow me to get the bike. I had promised myself as I was retiring from the military that I would get a bagger, but here we are about 3 years, not quite 3 years after transitioning, retiring from the military, finally got it. So I would say wanting the bagger kind of started way back in 2008 after I bought my first bike, which, as you know, or if you haven't watched any of my videos, is a 2007 883 Sportster Custom that I've done a lot of changes to over the years. But I'll talk about that a little bit as we're going through the video, as I'm discussing kind of my first thoughts on the bike, why I ultimately chose the Street Glide after considering several other bikes, which included the Harley Road King, the Harley Road Glide, and the Challenger from Indian, and then ultimately went with the Street Glide, as you can tell. First, we'll transition into kind of a short walk around of the bike, and then a start up with another walk around, and then we'll phase into me riding the bike and kind of discussing why I ultimately went with the Street Glide. Hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so here we are. Just wanted to do a quick walk around of the bike. Here we have my new 2021 Street Glide Special in vivid black with the blacked out finish. I have not done any modifications to the bike yet, no customization, so this is straight stock. But I just wanted to do a quick walk around, let you see the bike, how it looked. And I tell you, I really like it, really like the way that it looks. Already got it's already gotten a little dirty just from riding around yesterday, and the ride from the dealership to home. A few bug splatters there on the fairing, which I need to get that cleaned up. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to do a quick walk around, and we'll go ahead, we'll pause here, we'll get the bike started up, and let you see how she sounds. Okay, we'll go ahead, we'll start her up, let you see how she sounds. Okay, there you have it. So, I'm sure all of my friends who are on Facebook know that this was a tough decision which bike to go with. Looking at both the Street Glide and the Road Glide,
I really like the looks of both. And I would say I have only ever test ridden the Street Glide. I test rode one several years back, just as I was getting back to the States after leaving Germany 2018. Test rode both a Road King and the Street Glide. Road King just as it was coming out with the Road King Special. Really like the looks of the Road King. Ultimately, just the tank mounted instrument gauges is what led me to not going with the Road King. I don't know, I probably could have gotten used to it after riding it for a while, but just during that initial test ride, I hadn't ridden my bike in a while because I had my Sportster over here in Germany, just because I mentioned this before, maybe in some of my other videos, just because of the customizations, modifications I made to it. I didn't pass inspection, and there was just a lot of work that I needed to do to it to get it to pass. And it was a significant dollar figure, and I just didn't have the time and money to do it all at one time. So I was working on it the whole entire time that I was in Germany, just never got it done. So really for two and a half years I didn't ride at all. And then when I came back to the States, I test rode the Road King and the Harley, or the Road King and the Street Glide. And I don't know if it's just the fact that I hadn't ridden in a while or what have you. I didn't feel comfortable with taking my eyes off the road to look at the instrument gauges and such and so forth. It just wasn't comfortable to me. And then rode the Street Glide right after, and you just have everything right there, as you can see, and I really like that. I would say, in my opinion, as it is the Street Glide compared to the Road Glide, I've heard a lot of people talk about they prefer the fixed fairing over the fork mounted, or I should say the frame mounted fairing of the Road Glide over the fork mounted fairing of the Street Glide. I've heard people say it's just the weight that's on the forks, and as you're turning, is difficult. And I say I don't really think it's that bad, to be honest, in my opinion. That being said, though, I have never test rode a road glide, so how it rides compared to this, I don't know, but I can tell you, coming out of a Sportster on the highway at highway speeds, 70 miles per hour, almost 80, just making sure I keep it under that 30,000 RPM in 6th gear. I think I was maxed out at maybe about 76, 78 miles per hour to maintain that under 30,000 RPMs, and at those speeds, it felt great. I didn't have any wobble whatsoever. I did feel some wind resistance. I do notice a little bit of wind coming off of the windscreen, hitting the top of my head. But compared to the Sportster, obviously, that is nothing. Definitely really great ride, especially at highway speeds. The one thing that I did notice compared to the Sportster, and it's just obvious, is that weight difference at slow speeds coming up the stops. You know, that 200 plus pounds of difference in weight is definitely noticeable, and that's something that I'm gonna have to get used to as well. Where I had looked at probably really three different bikes, so let's say 4 different bikes. So in the beginning, it was kind of, I was stuck between deciding on whether to go with the Road King or the Street Glide. And kind of the interesting story behind that, and where I really kind of say I fell in love with the Street Glide was way back in 2008 when I first bought my Sportster, and I was still in Colorado Springs. It was summer. I was riding home from work, and had a guy who pulled up next to me on a Street Glide, and this guy was I would say he was probably my age, what my age is now, so mid to late 40s, on a Street Glide, had a mechanic shirt on, hands, arms were greasy, you could tell that he was a mechanic, and he's riding the Street Glide. And I think at the time, Colorado, actually there was no helmet law in Colorado. I don't remember 100%. I think there was no helmet law in Colorado. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that he was wearing just a baseball cap backwards, and he just pulls up next to me, and this guy is just rocking out to some Snoop Dogg, and had his, just the stereo going pretty loud, with some Snoop Dogg, and just bobbing up and down, enjoying the music, enjoying the ride. And I was just like, man, I would really love to have something like that, be able to listen to music while I'm riding, rock out. And that was kind of like when I really kind of fell in love with the Street Glide, or at least with a bike with a fairing. But at the same time, just have always really liked the looks of the Road King, and just the fact that with the Sportster, got those apes, and I just think that I could set up a Road King very similar to how I have my bike, just bigger touring motorcycle, and then when I am in and around the city, I could just leave that windshield off of the Road King. But like I said, as I was discussing, when I took that Road King out for a test ride, it has the tank mounted gauges that I kind of just didn't really like, taking my eyes off the road to look all the way down at the tank. And like I said, I probably could have got used to that, but at the time hadn't been riding, because the bike, when I had it over here in Germany last time, didn't pass inspection, and just wasn't comfortable taking my eyes off the road like that. So after I test rode the Street Glide and the Road King together, I really just kind of made me want that Street Glide even more. And that was 2008, so I kind of promised myself and had worked out with the missus to get a touring bike, kind of as a gift, retirement out of the military gift, And then just life happened. Different things happened to where it just wasn't it wasn't a good financial decision to do at the time. So now 3 years later, kind of better off financially, so that's why I went ahead and was able to make the purchase. But so that being said, I looked at 4 bikes. So the Road King, the Street Glide, and then after that, I just kind of started really kind of digging the way the Road King looks. So Road King, Street Glide, and then started looking at the Road Glide. Really like the way that the Road Glide looks. However, like I said, I never test rode it, so I don't know how that is, how that feels. I went to, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I went to the Harley Davidson dealership, and I just took my time going back and forth, sitting on both those bikes just to kind of see. And the ultimate decision and reason for going with the Street Glide was, one, I had test rode it, I knew how it felt. Could have probably test rode a Road Glide, but just sitting on the 2 bikes, the fact that this has the fork mounted fairing and it's all quite a bit closer to you, I just wanted to be able to, every once in a while, especially when I am, say, sitting at stops, I can reach down and touch the screen. It's touch screen, even with the gloves, it works. So you have that there, and with the Road Glide, that frame mounted fairing, it sits pretty far forward, a little bit more of a reach. I'm only 5'9" and a half, so really came down to which screen I could reach better. So that's that. But as I said, it came down to like 4 different bikes. So we had the Road King, the Road Glide, the Street Glide, and then 2020 Indian decided to come out with the Challenger. And at the time I was leaning towards the Road Glide for the Harley. And like, if you know anything about the Challenger, it's a competitor to the Road Glide, looks a lot like the Road Glide, just quite a bit more modern look to it, looks really cool. And they have that what do you call it, the dark horse version of the Challenger that is all blacked out, and it's a denim black paint, which I really wish I could have gotten with this, but right now Harley doesn't offer that. So that paint for this model. So went over to the Indian dealership here in Germany. Really, before making the decision, if I would have went with Indian before making that decision, I really would have wanted to test ride it. So I asked the guy, if I could test ride. At the time, he said it wasn't possible. He was waiting to get some more models in. He had the Challenger Limited, and the Challenger Limited and the Challenger Dark Horse. From what I did, or what I understand and through my research, is they have the same options for them, and it's just basically comes down to the dark horses, that blacked out look, and the denim paint jobs. Here in Germany, you only got two color offerings, and that's the white or the black. But in the States, they have that denim bronze color. Don't remember the name of that, but you know, my style, I would definitely go with the black, although all three colors are really cool. But they didn't have a dark horse model when I went over there and looked. They have one now, and I've seen it since. Really cool looking bike. Not particularly a fan of how the headlights are set up. To be honest, I like the looks of the Harley fairings on both the Street Glide and the Road Glide over the Indian Challenger and the Chieftain. I just think, in my opinion, they look better. I would say that's also one thing that kind of also leaned me towards the Harley, going with the Harley model over an Indian. But at the same time, so I totally understand, and I've read and I've done the research, and just technology-wise, I'm going to agree that Indian has quite a few advantages over Harley. They got the inverted forks and what have you, and some of their other features that they have might make it a better bike. Again, I didn't test ride it, so I don't know, but might make it a better bike. But there is no on-base vehicle sales for Harley, or for Indian, I'm sorry, only Harley, and that's beautiful right there. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. Sorry to interrupt the conversation with us, but just look at that. That is gorgeous, and that is one of the things that I just really love about Europe. So, but anyway, so no on-base vehicle sales for Indians. So basically, when you go through the on-base sales for Harley here overseas, you're getting it for basically stateside prices. You don't have to pay customs fees. You don't have to pay German taxes or anything like that. So since there is no on-base sales for Indian, would be going through the Indian dealership. It would be a German spec Indian bike. So just kind of, that's another thing, just that hassle of having to worry about that when I finally do go back to the States. And with those import fees, it put it at $3,000 to $4,000 over the price of the Harley that I would be paying on base. So if I was in the States, it might have been a lot more difficult decision overall. Probably would have been easier to test ride an Indian if I was in the States, but really at the end, even though there might be some better options, a little bit better technology behind the Indian, really ultimately went with, if I had been in the States and was able to actually go to an Indian dealership, look at an Indian bike there, test ride an Indian there, and have prices comparable to the Harley, with, you know, those options on the Indian that might be a little bit better than what you can get with the Harley, I may have went a different way. I don't know, but like I said, looks wise, I think I really prefer the looks of the Harleys over the Indians. And I know my good friend over at Messy Garage is going to argue that point with me. But that is, I would say, one of maybe three things that he and I's taste differ on things. Really, it was those four bikes. Again, the Road King, Street Glide, Road Glide, and the Indian Challenger. But overall, between the Road King and the Street Glide, it was kind of a coin toss, and it really came down to, like I said, just the fact that I can reach out and easily touch that. Because when it comes to looks, I think both are great looking bikes, and I assume that really, except for on the highway, the ride is not that much different. But like I said, I didn't test ride the Road Glide, so I'm not sure. But that's kind of where I'm at with that, and how I kind of decided on going with the Street Glide.
Okay, so there you have it. Just kind of recap, as I mentioned throughout the video, 4 bikes that I was really looking at, and that was the Harley Road King, the Harley Road Glide, the Indian Challenger, and the Harley Street Glide, which I ultimately decided to get. As I mentioned during the video, several reasons that led to me getting the Street Glide and choosing over the other Harleys and the Challenger. I really liked the way the Challenger looked. I really wanted a denim black paint on the bike, which is kind of why I started to lean towards the Challenger. But just ultimately, I would say, looks wise, I really like Harley, and I've always liked Harley, so ultimately had to go with Harley. But the decision to go with the Road King kind of ended after I did that test ride that I did a couple years back, and then the decision to go with the Street Glide over the Road Glide was just basically me sitting at the dealership, sitting down on the bikes, and which one felt more comfortable. As I mentioned in the video, just that screen on the Boombox GTS, and being able to reach out and touch it a little more easily with the road or with the Street Glide was one of the ultimate reasons why I went with the Street Glide, and the fact that I have test rode it before. Obviously, I could have test rode the Road Glide if I really tried, but I think my mind was set, and that's why I went with the Street Glide. And I'd say looks wise, it's not much, but I do favor the looks of the Street Glide over the Road Glide just a little bit. But both really great looking bikes. The Road King is really great looking bike, and I really would have liked to go that route, because I would have done a lot of things with it similar to what I have done with the Sportster, with the Apes, and just that look, blacked out appearance. And when they came out with the Road King specials with everything blacked out, that was where I was leaning towards, but just wasn't comfortable with the test ride of the Road King. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm really enjoying the new Street Glide. Had it for a little over a week and a half now, and already at about 650 miles. Didn't ride it as much as I would have liked last week. Got a lot of rain, but still rode it into work. I just didn't want to get it dirty, but once you get caught out in the rain and kind of break that, get it dirty for the first time, then it doesn't really matter anymore, right? But definitely enjoying the bike. Again, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.